Fellas, not all supports are treated equal. Some buff, some shield, and some, if they're on your team, do nothing. But today we are talking about the real MVPs, the healers. And so this is going to be the tier list of the Marvel rival healers that you actually need. And you'll see a lot of support tier lists out there, but this one is different. I'm going to be focusing on the characters that actually are able to heal in the game and what they bring to the table, ranking them from the worst to the best, best to the worst. So let's break down the Marvel rival healers and see who's truly worth locking in. So let's get into it. Strategist, very odd, very tricky to actually make a tier list for them if you never really got big into the strategist scene. There's only like 3 or so that are actually like pretty darn good. And then the rest are like, yeah, it's okay. It's not the worst thing. I don't think there's any support at the moment that's like, oh my god, it's a throw pick. At least in this season as of now. But the main issue with supports since, well, I want to say probably season 1. But really there's like 3 supports that you really want to use for these days if you really think about Cloak and Dagger. And now it's not going to be a shock to anybody. If you're not using Luna, ban Luna. They get a 12-second stop the fight ultimate that they get like once a fight. It's really disgusting. On top of that, her actual healing ability is honestly pretty solid. And I think they're one of the fastest supports in the game from her ice skating ability. Not the best with dealing with divers, especially on console. Yes, she has her ice snowball ability to freeze someone. But if you play on console, you're not hitting that consistently on a diver like Black Panther. Aside from that though, she has her ice arts, heals her up, does tons of damage, heals in a vicinity. Starting off Squirrel Girl, Luna Snow, we're not surprised. She is probably the best support in the game. Her team up is what? Iron Fist again. I thought they had a team up before. They did. But now she has a better team up where he gets a cool overshield healing ability that he gives to everyone in a giant vicinity. Has her team up with Hawkeye. Hawkeye is honestly pretty darn disgusting. I don't think her team up ability with Hawkeye is all that great, but you can shoot through walls, and I've seen some cool TikToks, but that's about it. Still, end of the day, Luna Snow, ton of healing. Honestly, not much more you could ask for. Of course, same deal. You got Loki. Loki is a little bit complicated to learn at first. I'll give you that. He can be kind of troublesome. It can be a little bit of a pain to manage his clones and to make sure you're not just like DPSing as Loki and actually like being a support character. And then on top of that, it can also be a little bit of a pain to learn to be kind of usable with most of the characters in the game, because not every single character is going to be in the same match, especially with bans. But besides from that, he's very strong, gets a ton of healing. You can play as any other character that you do wish. You have a way to self-heal, and then you have his runes every 25 seconds, which are like mini Luna ults. Still a little bit tricky to actually like pick up learning how to play, but aside from that, probably one of the most fun supports to actually use. Aside, I would say, from like maybe Adam or Jeff. Speaking of Adam or Jeff, if you get a really good Jeff on your team, it is going to be night and day for how good Jeff can be. But if you have like just an average playing Jeff, it's fine. But if you have a really good Jeff on your team, night and day. If you are playing like a heavy brawl comp, or honestly even like a dive comp, Jeff is really good because his healing pierces through your team and then hits the enemy team, dealing damage. Now, if your team comp isn't based on dealing that type of damage and it's just like kind of poke or things like that, then yeah, Jeff is not going to be the guy to play, as you're not doing enough like burst damage to really get use out of Jeff, and the enemy team can heal up faster than Jeff is going to make anything worthwhile. But if you're rocking like an Iron Fist, you got the thing going in there, you got a little Thor going in there, oh, Jeff is going to be one of the best characters that you can have. It takes a higher skill ceiling to get real use out of Jeff than you would think. And even then, he's still very low on the list. Otherwise, with the terrible healing for the team, you do have Iron Fist. You need to have a team up to really get use out of him. What's the point? And it's only in a small circle. Like, come on. You do have Captain America. He gives overshield for the most part. Your team, for the most part, is going to get overshield. He can give a little bit of healing, like a tiny bit of healing. As a general, he just isn't a very good healer, but he can heal. Phoenix, she only really heals herself. It's actually pretty decent healing, but it's not very good. With Wolverine, let me go. Yeah, there we go. With Wolverine, his healing is also a team-up based ability and only for himself. That's a terrible healing ability for the team. And then we do have Blade. Blade, I was reading something like his actual like self-healing or lifesteal is only like 36%. It's really not that high. Blade is a lot worse of a character than I thought he would be. It's pretty sick to see his like anti-healing ability. I can't think of the word at the moment. But survivability, lifesteal, everything in that regard, Blade is a little bit lackluster for what I thought he would be. Penny, actually pretty solid. Worse than Phoenix, because you need to have webs down. Pretty solid with their self-healing. And I guess Groot is probably right there. Why are they that way? Captain American Ultimate heals the team. Phoenix, you get some shots in, cause an explosion. Heals herself, not ideal. Penny, webs, it's really not that great, especially to get the healing factor in, and it's only for herself. And then you're playing Penny. Groot has a wall, but it's a team up, but it's actually pretty solid, and he can place it down anywhere and relatively fast. Iron Fist, healing circle, and then it gets over shield, so actually pretty decent. Wolverine, lifesteal, team up, only for himself. Blade, I guess, is actually up higher than I thought, above Penny, which unfortunately means, no, she's staying right there. I don't care. She gets to be on my list. So as we were saying, Jeff and Rocket, honestly, they're kind of C tier. They each have their own real utility for things. Rocket actually is not bad in terms of like a character to play. He has his BRB, which unfortunately gets sought out and destroyed quite a bit. And his healing is very good for slow healing your team over time. It's not actually all that great in fights or if you're trying to really heal a single person, unless there's like a ton of walls around. But if it's a big team fight and your other healer goes down, or you're really focusing on keeping one person alive, Rocket just kind of ain't it for that. He has good abilities to get away. Sure, his ultimate is extraordinarily powerful, but it gets shot down and broken rapidly fast. He's not a bad healer by all means. It's just there's better, just about every other support is better in this point. I think Jeff actually is tied with Rocket, because with Rocket, the main purpose to use him is if you got a Penny on your team, that's it. Jeff, at least it comes with like different team comps. Again, brawling, diving, very good for that. He has decent survivability. His ultimate is pretty strong, easily countered. And then on maps like Clintyre, for example, it's not the best map for Jeff. And then typically his ultimate involves him killing himself, which that's not ideal. But yeah, both are fun characters. Jeff is really fun to play. It's just there's better options as a support character at the moment. But I'm telling you, the right time, the right skill ceiling with Jeff, you're going to have a blast. Of course, we already know the S tier. It's been the same since like season 1 or 2, season 1.5. Invisoman, also an S tier. Great crowd control abilities. Did you know her E ability, the orb thing, knocks people out of the air? I didn't know that. She has her shield she can throw up to help heal the flyers. Good for blocking ultimates as well. Iron Man, Magneto blocks it. Push to push people off the map, push people away from you. Good for divers for a moment. You have the pull ability, good for taking back in those that are trying to get away. Her actual base healing attack is pretty solidly strong too. Pierces, hits the wall, comes back, heals a little bit less or deals a little bit less damage, but still pretty strong. Ultimate is also very strong. You can throw it up over an area, and then your team inside gets healed up rapidly, and any enemies inside get slowed down, and then they can't see in it, which is good for stopping some abilities like Mantis healing. Mantis trying to pick a target to heal. And then she has her team up with the Fantastic Four, of course. Super strong, super dope, super good. I forgot to mention, Loki has his team up with Mantis and Groot now, with Mantis as the anchor. And so his runes get damage buffs, which is pretty solid. And then I did feel this last season, and her ultimate charge meter went up by a couple hundred points. Energy. Cloak and Dagger, also S tier. I think a lot of people as of late have learned how to play Cloak and Dagger or get better at her. Very strong. You get her ultimate pretty darn fast. Her basic attack, you don't have to aim all that hard to get the healing in. Good for flyers as well. She has her healing wall, which is good for healing over time, and her healing bubble, which is good for quick healing if you're inside of it. So you can throw that one way and then heal the other way. And then she has the cloak part, where he has the ability to shade everyone, cloak everyone. His terror wall, which gives a damage debuff, and I think it actually does damage as well. And then his basic attack, which does quite a bit of rapid damage, not healing. Overall, Cloak and Dagger is a very strong character. She has a team up with Moon Knight. Actually, I do see a lot of Moon Knights use it. And then she has a similar team up with Blade, which I tried it the other day and I couldn't get it to work. I don't know what I was doing wrong with that, but pretty cool that there's a team up there. This one is a little bit clunky because underneath of them, easy, Ultron. Unfortunately, most of the time I do think he does need to be like a third healer because he's more like a DPS healer than like just a regular support. His healing output is not the best and you got to stay somewhat close to it to get the most out of it. But if you throw that like on a tank and then you pop your shield ability often, keeps you and the tank up for quite a little bit. Ultimate is kind of a miss. I think it needs to be just a little bit longer because it's good defensively. It's not the best offensively, but you can do it that way. Very, very good in team fights. And then just as a general, his basic attack is incredibly strong. And he does have a team up with Iron Man for his healing cannon. I think that also does damage as well. You don't get to use it all that often these days. Iron Man's banned a lot. Ultron is just not good enough most of the time. When you do have a 3 healing comp, I think Ultron at the moment actually might be the only character that you do need a third healer to really play. Because even like Adam these days, Adam is pretty darn strong. It's just you're going to get more utility out of Ultron as a third healer than you're going to get out of Adam Morlock, who's B. Now, Adam Morlock can do fine as a second healer, as a second support. They buffed his healing regenerative ability late this season, where you hold your secondary attack, Cosmic Cluster, and if you land a shot, each shot is 0.3 seconds off of your healing time. If you're just firing off Cosmic Clusters, it's honestly not bad to get your healing back up that way, and then you can kind of get out a better healing output. But if you hold your basic attack and tap the cluster and kind of go back and forth, you land your headshots or even just basic attacks, you're dealing a ton of damage. And then you're mixing in the Cosmic Cluster in that. Easy way to get your charge meter back up to heal again. They really fixed his ultimate. His team up is with Luna Snow. Not that great because Luna Snow needs to actually hit the target that she's linked to, and you shouldn't be that close to bad guys. It's fine, I guess, but it's not really what you want. They got rid of the res comp. That made Adam good before, but they fixed his healing mostly, so he's pretty darn good now. He can still revive himself. He has his ultimate to revive the team, and he still has the soul bond. Unfortunately, still a 40-second cooldown timer. I think that is for the best. I think it should reset upon his death, but that's a whole other thing. He's a pretty solid support at the moment, and if you can play him right, you're able to get in a ton of picks. But for the most part, the odds of you finding like a decent Adam is few and far in between. and you're just better off with one of the like main 4 supports than choosing Adam. He still is pretty good. And then when I was making the list, I actually wasn't sure if I wanted to have Mantis above or below Adam. I think I want Mantis above Adam, also in B tier. Her healing is a little bit better than what it was before, so it's not too bad. Her ultimate still just isn't like perfection like how you'd want it, but overall they have continued to make some buffs to her, and she is in a pretty solidly good spot at the moment. Crazy good damage if you can land the shots. She has her sleep ability, which isn't all that bad either, but she has an incredible team up with Loki and with Groot, and that gives her bonus healing as well. If you're gonna play Mantis, you might as well play like Invisoman at that point. There's just better options, but she is pretty fun to play. But you're going to be playing like Mantis or Adam for that, for utility over specifically for healing. And so that's why they're in B. So to make sure I wasn't missing anyone. And so this list right here is going to be what I think is the tier list for healing in season 3.5. Now for the top of the list, for the main cast, it's going to be their overall utility. And then for the bottom of the list, just because I did mention it, they're just terrible at healing. But because it is a healing tier list, they need to be added. Now, I don't think I got anything wrong here. Yeah, season 4, I hope they bring in a new support because I'm kind of tired of these main 4 being the main supports. I hope they bring in one that is like insane utility that doesn't suck. And I think that will really, really switch up the meta because right now, like Luna Loki is like the best combo you can get, but they don't offer that much utility. Even Invisoman, not a lot of utility, although she has some. There needs to be something else. Supports are in a weird spot at the moment. They have been since like the start of the game. They just need something else. Anyways, and so this should be a clear-cut, concise tier list of the healers in Marvel Rivals. Tell me, do you think I got anyone wrong or they should be in a different spot? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, hit that like button if you're still watching, subscribe for more videos like this if you haven't already, and stay tuned for the next one. YouTube thinks you like this video next. Let me know if you do.